All right, sir. What was your introduction to the BattleTech universe?
In 1995 or 1996, I was in high school. Do the math. And I saw two people playing a duel between a vulture and a timberwolf that came with, I think, one of the introductory box sets of the Clan Invasion era. And I watched them and I was hooked immediately. And by hooked immediately is I actually didn't play for a number of years and after that. When it came around, I bought the 20th anniversary rules book and I started to get into it. And from there, I've just been kind of a lifelong fan of the Battletech universe in general.
All right. How much experience do you have with RPGs, tabletops, and war games in general?
My first RPG experience was in middle school. I was probably, I want to say 13 or 14. And I have played in a number of RPGs, mostly Dungeons and Dragons since then. But honestly, I've been mostly a GM my whole life. And I don't think I've gone more than maybe 2 years out of my 44 years of life since then where I haven't actively been involved in some sort of role-playing game.
How much do you know about the BattleTech universe lore?
I know a good amount, but there is so much, it is hard to actually know a lot without having a lot more free time. I still do ask the community questions. I still go on Sarna a lot to try and look for stuff. But I would say of the players, I know the most.
What do you love about doing RPGs?
I love almost everything about it. I love the interactions, I love the storytelling, I love dice rolling, I love creating characters that I will never use because I'm basically a forever GM at this point. But I would say the thing I love the most is being with people who are also creative. I love it when they surprise me with, hey, I want to do this. And me going, well, it ruins my entire plan, but in the best way possible.
What is your most memorable RPG moment?
I would say my most memorable RPG moment is going to be some of those, like one of those rare times where I played a character I really wanted to play and I played them long term. I played a 2nd edition advanced game of D&D where I played a ranger from level 1 all the way up to level 8. And it took us the better part of like 3 years of playing to get there. And I just remember the last time that I basically played that character being like, dang it, I'm never going to be able to do this character again.
When you play an RPG, what are you looking for in a good RPG experience?
I like a mix of things. I'm a little less of a fan about long strategic combat when it comes to most role-playing games, especially D&D. But I would say that I like character interaction the most. When you're actually role-playing as your character and interacting with NPCs and having fun trying to get stuff done and figure stuff out in that vein.
What is your favorite action movie?
My favorite action movie is Die Hard, the original, for very obvious reasons. But I think the most overlooked part of why it's such a good action movie is the fact that the character John McClane is not an action hero. That he's not a classic standard archetype action hero. But he's in an action movie. He kind of understands that he is in an action movie on a weird level, but the stakes are real for him. Whereas a lot of other action movies, it's just like, oh, of course the good guys are going to win. They're badasses. John McClane is not a badass. In fact, he kind of sucks. He's just pretty lucky and really hard to kill.
What is the scariest animal in your opinion?
In my opinion, the scariest animal is generally spiders, because I'm pretty arachnophobic. If one touches me, I start to freak out. But a little scarier than that are the things that hunt spiders. There's a wasp that literally lays larvae in paralyzed, still alive spiders that eat through them when it hatches. That's pretty scary. And I'm worried that somewhere in the universe, there's a thing that will do that to us as humans.
What is your perfect relaxation afternoon?
I like the idea of just being home, just hanging out with my younger daughter, chilling, watching some, videos on YouTube, playing some video games, and just kind of chilling, not really doing anything important.
And the most important question, obviously, what BattleTech unit is just you?
The Battletech unit that is just me, in my opinion, is probably going to be it's funny because lately I've thought about the Adder is such a cool looking modern version of its form, and it's a really cool mech, and clan mechs and clan technology are really powerful, but the one that's really more me, I think, is actually probably going to have to be see, that was me stalling, trying to remember what the name of it was. Don't include this. What's it called? Brain no function good.
I would have assumed a Timberwolf.
No, see, Timberwolf is cool, but I don't think it really is me per se, because a Timberwolf is a purposefully designed weapon of war that it kind of is a generalist in everything. And that's great, but it takes so much to get one on the battlefield. Like, seriously, the amount of money that it costs to create one is just ridiculous. And it's actually pretty common. It's not really that unique. The mech I was thinking of was a Javelin. It's not a great mech, but it's still a mech. It still does what it's supposed to do. Every version of it is just kind of, oh yeah, okay, it's a Javelin. That's what it's there for. That's what it does. You put it on the right team and it fills what role it needs to fill. It can kind of punch, but it's more about being a participant and a reasonable amount of survivability.
Oh yeah.
No, my name is David Archer.
What was your introduction to the BattleTech universe?
That would be you as of probably about maybe 3 to 4 months ago. And in that time, it has been spent in the available time that I have looking up things on Sarna, YouTube, and trying to learn as much as I possibly can so that I have some foundation.
That bleeds right into how much experience do you have with RPGs, tabletop, and war games?
For tabletop, that would probably go back maybe at least 10 years or more in playing a tabletop game. Dark Conspiracy was probably my first actual tabletop experience. I had an absolute blast with, I think it was probably at least 6, maybe 7 other people in this future modern sci-fi setting. That was just an incredible amount of fun and experience to have, and kind of set me on a path of wanting more of that. Outside of tabletop, other war games that I've played, some Airsoft, PC games, ranging from Insurgency, Stalker, Daisy, Arma. There's a whole host of PC games, and lately I've been spreading democracy across a few planets.
How much do you know about the BattleTech universe lore?
Not more than the average person, less than the average enthusiast. I'm definitely somewhere in the middle of that, where I could hold a conversation with someone who enjoys the lore and the games, and I would be able to learn from them while still being able to contribute to the conversation. Yeah.
What do you love about doing RPGs in general?
The engagement with friends, and making new acquaintances, and evolving.
Let's start over. What do you love about doing RPGs?
Definitely the engagement with other people. Starting out as acquaintances, becoming friends, evolving those relationships in a way that is fun and engaging. You kind of learn roles and fill those gaps where your fellow players maybe fall short, but that's where you come up to the task. And that is such a huge part of any role-playing game, is not trying to necessarily be a jack of all trades, but allowing people to kind of fulfill the roles that they want to fulfill and bringing your own to the table.
What is your favorite action movie?
The Fifth Element. It's such a perfect blend of sci-fi, action, and comedy that there's very few that I feel that can really touch it as just a really true sci-fi action film.
What is your most memorable role-playing game moment?
Probably the time where a player tried to throw a grenade and failed the roll spectacularly in such a way that they sent themselves into double criticals, and it led to a creation of a new meme in the circle of, I may not have a good throw skill, but I have an excellent drop and run skill.
What is the scariest animal?
Koalas.
No expoundment on that necessary.
Absolutely not.
Just chlamydia for
Chlamydia.
What are you looking for in a good RPG experience?
Entertain me, keep me engaged, make me smile, make me laugh, make me want to work for the goal, but keep it engaging. That's paramount, is keep the players engaged, and keep that carrot dangling.
What Battletech unit, mech tank, etc., is just you, or which one have you seen that you like?
The one that allows me to hit things from way over here. There's a lot of them that can do that. But there's some that are better at it than others.
The further away, the better.
Yeah, if I can hit things with artillery or LRMs at a range, just be like, you stay over there.
What is your perfect relaxation afternoon?
Personally or NPC-wise?
Personally. This is you, not your character.
Probably relaxing with a cup of coffee and just enjoying whatever time I have. Just whether it's just sitting outside and just enjoying the view, or just being out in nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name? Ethan. What is your introduction to the Battletech universe? About 2 years ago, when I was working at a job doing food service, I met this weird older guy who's a big nerd and showed me a bunch of like weird, cool mechs on a
playing field. And then he was just like, yeah, so this is Battletech, and you should like sit down and play with me and my other nerd friend while we're doing lunch. So that was my introduction. It was very fun. I am now fully addicted.
How much experience do you have with RPGs, tabletop, and war games?
War games aside, I don't have a lot of experience there, but I've been a dungeon master and D&D player for over 10 years now myself. Been a long time GM that thankfully is getting to play in this campaign and not be stuck here. But as far as tabletops go, I've played everything from Catan to Secret Hitler, and they're all amazing games.
How much do you know about the Battletech universe lore?
Not as enough to know everything. I've dabbled on Sarna on more afternoons than I'd probably like to admit, but I am as fluent in Battletech lore as I am in German, which is to say, not enough.
What do you love about doing RPGs?
I love the kind of community that you build with friends, the way that you can like laugh at people's jokes and have a fun time and really get to know people through the characters that they design and the way that they create themselves in the campaign and the way that they handle situations. It's always nice to learn more about your friends when you're learning about them, whether it's their, their trauma or their character's trauma that they give them in the middle of a session.
What is your favorite action movie?
All right, it's going to be controversial, but it's Treasure Planet. It's an excellent movie. I think it's a fantastic like depiction of just boy to man, and I think everything about the way that the story develops from him being a stowaway to him being kind of the reason that that movie ends the way it does is beautifully done. I also enjoy the fact that the movie keeps you on your edge of your seat for most of it.
So it keeps you on your edge. You got that part out, but I just...
It keeps you edgy.
Just get it out of your system. What is your most memorable, safe for work RPG
moment? I would have to say when I was running a campaign about 6 or 7 years ago, I had a group of players that completely thwarted my BBEG by deciding to not go and fight them at the last ritual because they knew that they had slowly but surely dismantled enough of the ritual like pieces that he was going to fail. And one of them had drew from the deck of many things and asked what would happen if said ritual failed, and they knew that he would be rendered piece from piece. So they just kind of let him succeed in his ultimate goal and end his own suffering. It was very nice.
What is the scariest animal?
That's an interesting question. I would have to lean towards bats. There are some bats that just shouldn't be able to do what they do, and I'm sorry. Even like cute little fruit bats, or sometimes their membrane, their wings, that's just a little much.
Okay. What are you looking for in a good RPG experience?
I like to be kept guessing. I'm very much the type of person who enjoys to be engaged and always kind of like second guessing what's going on behind the words and things that are being said in the session. And I definitely think that between having good friends that like keep you grounded and also being the person that goes, I don't know, this seems a little fishy. I like that experience a lot.
What Battletech unit, mech tank, etc., is just you, or which one do you see and just really like?
It's a running gag that I say all the time, but the Firefly. Fast, mobile, comes with a flamethrower so I can piss on everybody underneath me. It's a beautiful mech. It does its job very well.
What is your perfect relaxation afternoon?
It's probably hanging out with my friends and being absolute nerds, whether that's doing tabletop RPGs or playing TCGs and card games, or just being at home playing video games online. I like hanging out with friends, and I like drowning myself in whatever my ADHD mind is currently obsessed with.
Okay. Name?
Joshua Hyde.
What was your introduction to the BattleTech universe?
My introduction to the Battletech universe was probably when I was 14 years old. The current game master, because we don't say dungeon around here because too many people get excited, introduced me to it way back in the day when we first started playing role-playing games together. And it's been 21 years, and I finally broke and decided we should play it. So here we are.
How much experience do you have with RPGs, tabletop, and war games?
Well, it kind of answers it in the previous question, but it's been kind of off and on. It's been a love-hate relationship through many years. People develop at different rates, and I always kind of faded in and out of the role-playing scene. But it was all my friends that kind of drug me back into it and reminded me that there's always a home to come to, even if you don't want to be there just yet.
How much do you know about the BattleTech universe lore?
Very little. It's a very vast system. There's a lot to be learned there. There's a lot to be said there. And there's a lot to find, as well as a lot of opinions that are out there as well. It's a very, like I said, it's a very vast universe, and I think I'm just pulling at the strings.
What do you love about doing RPGs?
My favorite part about RPGs is it tugs on a very human, ancient gathering aspect, which brings a lot of people together, all the way back to caveman days of painting on walls. And it's a very, in this busy day and age, especially right now, where there's a lot going on in the world, and it seems to keep getting faster. It's good to sit down with your friends. The phones go away, cameras go away. You can just sit down, have a good time, and kind of build a story together.
What is your favorite action movie that isn't Rambo?
I've been listening to everybody else answer this question, and everybody else has said really, really good answers to this. And I was going to look up, is The Thing an action movie? And it's a thriller, because otherwise I'd just say John Carpenter's The Thing, period. It's done. It's over. That is the best movie that's ever been made. I don't care. But I would have to say for an action movie, it's probably going to be the one that I can watch repeatedly over and over, which is Guy Ritchie's Rock and Rolla. It is such a callback to his previous movies with Lock, Stock. It's just an amazing film. It was built for the modern day movies, but now it is maybe 20, maybe 15 years old. So I'm dating myself right now at this point because it still feels like a modern movie, but it's got a lot of licks and I like it.
What is your most memorable RPG moment?
My most memorable RPG moment was building a character that was completely built for risk taking. The more risk, the more danger he put himself into, the more dice that he got to add to his rolls and totals. I remember the look on the DM's face when I ended a 4-hour sand battle with a predator alien queen hybrid in 15 minutes, and everybody went home early, and I was never invited back again after that.
What is the scariest animal?
It's definitely an octopus. Those things are too smart. Like, we don't even know. It's not right. Like, they can get out of their cages, turn the lights off, eat a fish, and then it's like, no, I'm going to go back into my cage because you're going to keep putting more fish over there. That's ridiculous.
What are you looking for in a good RPG experience?
In a good RPG experience, I want to see people engaging. I want to see people taking the baton, as it were, and really fleshing out their characters, not just with their own personalities, but with creating a character and then filling in those gaps as well, putting those connections between items that the character might like that you might not necessarily like, and then letting that play out. And I think that's a really important part.
What Battletech unit, mech tank, etc. is just you? Or which one do you just really like?
I have a really hard time choosing between the two. I would choose Atlas all day. Not because, oh, it's a huge mech. Like, there's plenty of huge mechs. An Atlas on a field, there's something legendary about that. There's something so intimidating that it's not even intimidating anymore. It's just there's a mountain on the field and you have to deal with it. On the flip side of that, I do like a hunchback because an AC-20 over your shoulder acting like a shotgun is kind of funny.
What is your perfect relaxation afternoon?
For me, my relaxation, my mind likes to stay busy. So I prefer to find myself underneath a vehicle, working in a shop, tinkering, fixing things, doing home improvements, those sort of things. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy being out in nature, but there's something about fixing engines that just sings to me.
What's your
Alright.
name?
Name's Karl, age 38, from Alaska.
What was your introduction to the BattleTech universe?
MechWarrior 2 Clans, actually. First computer game I ever played.
Cool. How much experience do you have with RPGs, tabletop, and war games?
Right. I have played obscure games that no one outside of probably a few thousand people even know about, to the most common stuff. D&D has always been kind of my forte for the long haul, since second edition, basically. So I guess the answer would be a lot. Like, a lot. So much.
How much do you know about the BattleTech universe lore?
I mean, basically the same answer as the prior one, but a lot more specific and in depth. I've read most of the novels, basically memorized most of the source books, and know most of the actual battle mechs and their variants, given there's over 4,000 of them.
What do you love about doing RPGs?
Well, it's one of the highest forms of collaborative storytelling. To actually engage in telling a story with people you know or don't know. Either one can be fun.
What is your favorite action movie?
Oh, that one's easy. Army of Darkness with Bruce Campbell. Easy choice.
What is your most memorable RPG moment?
That one's easy. Dark Conspiracy. We're fighting a blood control. Or is it vampire? I don't remember what they're called in Dark Conspiracy.
Big ones are the trolls.
Trolls. By the way, we're fighting something real big nasty. It's got regeneration. We've whittled it down. It's down to basically 38 hit points. 38 hit points. So I'm playing a character, super badass mercenary, wielding a fully automatic shotgun. I figure, what the hey on accuracy? I'll just unload the whole thing. In Dark Conspiracy, when you do that, you basically just roll a bucket load of dice to see if any of them hit, and then you roll damage, so to speak. Well, I needed to do 38 damage on an absolute brick ton of D6s. And by brick ton, I mean 35 D6s. Guess how much damage I got? 37. 34 ones and 1 2. So that probably stands out to me as my favorite moment in my gaming experience. Just for I do not think I am ever going to see something like that again.
For sure. What is the scariest animal?
Scariest animal. I mean, I know they're not generally poisonous, but huntsman spiders from Australia. Because a spider the size of my head is a bit much. Not generally arachnophobic or anything, but if a spider looks like it should have a hell of a bar, I'm generally on the ant kill it with fire territory.
What are you looking for in a good RPG experience?
To have a lot of fun, memorable experiences. That's about it. I tend to prefer to try and action movie stuff sometimes. Know a lot about cinematography and films. Sometimes it's fun to try and recreate scenes from said thing. I mean, in context, of course.
What Battletech unit, mech, tank, etc. is just you, or which one do you just like?
Hunchback pilot all the way. Because sometimes you just need an autocannon 20.
What is your perfect relaxation afternoon?
I'm ironically playing a game of Battletech. I like Battletech. What?
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Ooh, that fell off.
Yeah, that does fall. It's a cheesy lemon squeezy.
I thought you were going to